Hello everyone, welcome to the video. Just before we start, I want to remind you that this video is geared for players under 1100. So I'm going to be teaching a little bit about king and pawn endgames. So let's start with this. This position has black to move, and we're going to try and draw with black. So first we're just going to realize that the pawn is over here, the king has to get to in front of the pawn. So we'll start with King d7, a very logical move. It's the best move. So white tries to get in front of his pawn, king f2. We continue in that direction with king e3. And now here, what is two options? He can go to e3 or to f3. So what we're going to do if he plays to e3 is we're going to play king to e5, and this is called opposition. When there's a square here and a square here, and there's one square between them, this is called opposition, direct opposition. So let's say he goes to here. We're just going to try and get opposition, so we're going to go to this square. Alright, let's have him go to e3. So remember, opposition, king e5. Now he has two options. He can go here or here. And if he goes to here, then we're just going to move our king over to f5. Right, if he goes to f3, we're just going to go to f5 and keep the opposition. If he goes to d3, then we're going to go to d5. Alright, so let's just say he goes to f3. What do we do? f5. Keep the opposition. The opposition right here. So now let's say he goes back to e3. What do we do? 5 seconds to figure it out. 5, 4. Or you can pause the video. Alright, so if he goes to e3, we have to keep the direct opposition with king to e5. Good job if you figured that out. So now let's say he goes to d3. We just go to d5. If he goes to d3, we just go to d5. d3, d5, and we still have this direct opposition. Now let's say he goes back to e3, we go back to e5. If he goes to f3, we go to f5. So there's no real way for him to make progress. So let's say he tries advancing his pawn. We just have to remember to stay in front of the pawn. So we'll go to e5, and now if he goes to here if he goes to g3 with his queen, we can get to e4. If he goes to g4 with his king, then we'll go to e4 and win his pawn, and then it'll be a draw. So let's just consider g3 first. If he goes to g3, we'll go in front of the pawn and transposes. So we just stay in front of the pawn. He pushes, and now here's a crucial point. We have to stay in front of the pawn and gain distant opposition. Distant opposition means that if he goes here, we can go there, and if he goes there, well, he can't go there because there's a pawn, but if he goes there, then we can go there and meet him with the opposition. If he goes to there, we can meet him by going, if he goes to f4, we can meet him by going to f6, and we have opposition again. Alright, so let's say he goes to f4, we go to f6, and he repeats this process. And now, there's a very important move we have to remember here, and it's king e8, just staying in front of the pawn. So now, if he goes to f5, we can just go back up. If he goes to f6, we can just go to f8 and we have opposition again. If he goes to d6, I'll give you 5 seconds starting from now to figure it out. You can also pause the video. Okay, so if he goes to d6, we can just go to d8. We're going to be keeping the opposition, so let's look at that. d6, d8, And what is he going to do? If he goes e7 check, we just go king e8, and king e6 is a stalemate, right? And stalemate means that it's a draw. Either side wins or loses. So, let's say he goes back. We go back. Now he goes to f5. What do we do? 5 seconds, pause the video, see if you can figure it out. Okay, we go to e8. Just in case you're wondering, this is what happens if you go to f8 or g8. So let's just start with f8. King f8, king f6, king e8, e7, king d7, king f7, and now he's going to queen his pawn. So obviously that is not what we want. So we just have to remember to keep the opposition. So f5, king e8, king f6, king f8, and this is drawn. f6, king f8, king e5, king e7, king d5, king e8, king d6. Pause the video. See if you can figure it out. Alright, king d6, king d8. Just keeping the opposition. Alright. That should help you in your king and pawn games. Alright, thanks for watching. And leave a rating if you liked it, and a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. This is Robert Pekarek signing off, wishing you good luck with your chess.